So hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Amesy's Corner here at Approved Auto in Plastow, New Hampshire. So we got a little job going on. I got a Mercedes ML350, I think it is, sitting down here waiting for me. The problem we have with it, a lot of new vehicles have variable intakes and tumble flaps and different devices inside of the intake to change the velocity of the intake air going through the ports and into the combustion chambers. And the way a lot of companies, a lot of manufacturers have been doing this for years are with flaps, valves in the intake that actually will close off certain passages, open longer passages and shorter passages, because at different RPMs, air wants to travel at a different speed inside of that motor, and they use these flaps to kind of speed air up where they want it to be sped up. I've got this intake manifold here for this ML that's out there. I think it's a 320. Now, all of these dash pots here are electronically and mechanically used to move these flaps around. You see how they all move. This one here moves these flaps. There's some other ones here that move stuff inside. And what this does, we can actually show you right here. Now, think of a garden hose. When you have a garden hose with no sprayer hose on the end of it, the water will just kind of come out slow without a lot of velocity, high volume, low pressure. But when you take and you put your thumb over the garden hose and it sprays out faster, well, that, and then it acts like a pressure washer, will blow dirt off, where if it's just a big open port like this, the water won't travel. Well, here it's air, and the way this works is when the PCM at low RPMs wants air to travel faster right here. This would be where the injector is, so you want a lot of air right here going into the valve bowls. And what this will do at low RPMs is it'll close these flaps up like that. And basically what that does is like putting your thumb over the garden hose. So when it restricts it, you get less volume and higher flow, higher pressure. Now at lower RPMs, you don't really need the volume that these ports can provide. They're shaped big like this to let a lot of air at high RPMs. Well, a lot of driving is lower RPMs where you want torque. And by closing off these ports, you can see they all work together. By closing these ports off, it basically rams air into the valves, into the engine, and acts like more torque. Gives you more torque by actually creating more velocity at less quantity. So the trouble is, a lot of European vehicles that use this system, this is all, and you can see it, this is all plastic. The arms here are all pretty flimsy plastic. This is a brand new, very expensive manifold here. Try not to manhandle it around. But what happens typically is these will break here or where this little ball joint here is. The trouble on the vehicle we have today, when I was doing my diagnosis, we had run condition codes, lean codes, we had codes for this system itself. And upon further inspection, I found this cap here in the car was a little different than this, but it was pulled apart, and when this moved, it moved nothing inside. And the PCM saw this as a problem and would set the check engine light. The way these particular ones work, there are longer passages inside of here, and these will close those passages off, so you have more low-end torque. And that's pretty much what all this is about. So when this plastic gets brittle like uncooked pasta and breaks, there's really nothing you can do. The only fix and the only way to get all of these pieces is with a new intake manifold, which is well over $1,000 right here, sitting right here on my cart. Let me set it up a little bit. So anyways, the car that this goes in is right back here. So anyway, the radio in the shop's blaring today. The other techs, I can't control the radio, so what I'm going to do is I've already got a time lapse going today, so I'm going to set a time lapse of this job. I'm going to put you guys up on the hood and look down at the intake. I've never actually had one of these intake manifolds off of these cars. And if we look, if we look under here, those there are those valves. You'd have to look way down in. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you with the camera, but all of this has to come off. Everything under it has to come apart and be swapped over to the other intake. It's a pretty fair amount of work to get into this intake. It's probably not the hardest intake I've ever done, but maybe I spoke too soon. So I'm going to pull this thing in. I'll set you guys up with the time lapse under the hood, and we'll see if we can get through this with no drama, you know. But the trouble with these trucks, this thing here, I want to say it's a 20. What do we got here? It's an 06, a 2006, and I think it's only got like 43,000 miles. It's only got 43,000 miles, and all this plastic, and the problem with the car, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I'm expecting some more broken plastic. You know, when you try to undo all the clips and connectors and hoses and vacuum tees, it just, a few years, it doesn't even take very many years for this stuff to turn into, it seems like it's made out of uncooked pasta. I really can't think of a better analogy than uncooked pasta, and that's what all this automotive plastic turns into in a very short amount of time. I mean, this truck, 43,000 miles, it's not even 10 years old, and I'm going to have to use kid gloves on it like I was working on something, you know, 40 years old, 40 years old. But it's just the way they do it nowadays. Cheapest way out and lightest way out. But anyways, boys, I'm gonna get this thing in, set it up, and cross my fingers this goes easy. But anything can happen. boys, I got this thing all put together. Runs great. It's got a little more low-end torque than it had before. That's all I care about. Well, actually, all I care about is the check engine light, and no check engine light on. So a lot of brittle plastic in there. I had to really be on my game to get that thing all apart and not break any of those wire loom pieces or those little arms. Those things can get jammed up when you're putting those intakes on. But real tight. Some of that was tight in that intake, but it wasn't too bad. What'd that take me? 2.5 hours? I wasn't even paying attention. I was just motoring through the job. But so thumbs up, share, leave a comment. Comments are much appreciated. And until next time, guys, you keep it out of the cabbage.